This video presents content from Chapter 3 of the book, Sustainable Living and World Peace, from a section entitled, Neither Increasing Efficiency nor Reducing Economic Activity will result in complete sustainability. Creating a sustainable world for people in all of life is not necessarily being accomplished by what is happening in the green movement or what people currently think of as being earth-friendly. The phrase reduce, reuse, and recycle could be considered a common green slogan used in an attempt to state what needs to happen to create more environmentally friendly human behaviors. Reduce does not fit well into the aspirations of a truly sustainable society, though. We are not only trying to create environmental sustainability, but also economic and social sustainability, while not limiting our ability to add value and opportunity to humanity. The term reduce should be replaced with the term redesign, which would be much more appropriate. Just to mention, the book Cradle to Cradle, Remaking the Way We Make Things by Michael Braungart and William McDonough is an inspirational book that includes information on eliminating waste through redesigning. Redesigning will bring much better results than reducing ever could in our attempts to create a sustainable modern world. And there's more on this later in the book. The idea of reducing is good as it pertains to waste and our efforts to eliminate waste. However, as mentioned before, we do not want to reduce opportunity, which could occur if we are trying to reduce our consumption, utilization, experiences, and growth. We should not have to put limits on our economic or personal growth or the value that could come to humanity in these pursuits. Trying to do this can also lead to reduced chances to explore life and its possibilities and/or lessen our standard of living. Trying to solve environmental issues by trying to consume less is a never-ending exploit. No matter how minimalistic we become, someone could always argue that we could be consuming less of something. Avoiding unnecessary waste in increasing productivity and utility is one thing, but trying to reduce our way to environmental sustainability misses the boat and does not ensure that sustainability is happening in any of the three pillars. As we become more efficient at something, the phenomenon known as Jevons paradox or rebound effect results and leads us to not necessarily consuming less overall, but potentially actually consuming more. In the book, The Coal Question, written in 1865, William Stanley Jevons noticed that increasing the efficiency of coal-burning steam engines actually led to an increased consumption of coal. It may appear logical to figure that increasing efficiency would lead to less coal being needed just to power steam engines. If the same amount of work could be produced from a lesser amount of coal, then why did we actually end up using more coal in the end? This apparent oddity led Jevons to question how long coal would be available to us as a fuel and what it would take for us to actually use less coal to prolong its availability. We might think that becoming more efficient would result in the consumption of fewer resources. What happens is that we save money when something inefficient becomes more efficient, such as when we are able to spend less money on coal to get the same amount of power from the more efficient coal-burning steam engines. The money that was saved by increased efficiency ends up being spent on consuming more of that product, such as buying more coal to get even more power, or potentially some other product altogether. We have not consumed less overall. We now have more money to buy more stuff, which actually increase our opportunity to enjoy more things. Being more efficient or less wasteful allows for consumers to get more from their money and get more utility from the money they spend. Wasteful spending would be reduced, freeing up money for more useful purchases, for more benefits to consumers. Consumers now have additional money available that they are no longer spending on the now less wasteful and inefficient purchase. However, they may take their saved money and spend it on another purchase that is produced wastefully or at least not completely sustainably. Just being efficient, like improving automobiles' gas mileage, does not necessarily result in less consumption. Making automobiles more fuel efficient just causes us to drive more and further, thus buying more gas, or it allows to save money to be spent on other products. Although we do get more utility for our money, high efficiency does not equal sustainability if methods of obtaining raw materials are unsustainable, such as the unsustainable harvesting of trees or carelessly wasting and not recycling a non-renewable commodity. As it is with unsustainably produced products we have today or will have in the future, becoming more efficient simply could result in a redirection of our purchasing power to other unsustainably produced products through the rebound effect. This happens all the while we may be thinking that our increased efficiency is the environmentally friendly thing to do. We might be thinking we are doing something green by increasing efficiency, but is this really creating sustainability? To go another step with this, what if all the products on the market that we could buy could be considered completely sustainable products? What if all the things we choose to buy were entirely sustainably produced or sustainable during use and caused no contaminants to be released into the environment? What if all the products, materials, or component parts could be completely recycled back into our production stream so that there was no cost of materials or that there was no loss of materials, production ability, or consumption ability? Remember, some of these materials are non-renewable, and many of the renewable resources will require proper management to make sure they are always available in adequate quantities. Also remember that sustainability implies an indefinite amount of time into the future. Otherwise, it is not truly sustainable. Just being efficient and reducing is not good enough in our pursuit of complete sustainability. Without a doubt, things can be done that will take us beyond efficiency to complete sustainability. To succeed at this will take time, thinking, expertise, and redesigning, but we are capable of making it happen. There are definite changes we will need to make because we have been pursuing growth through non-sustainable means, financially, environmentally, and socially, and fooling ourselves into thinking it is growth. By following our basic principles, outlined later in this chapter, we do not need to reduce our expectations for growth or our standards of living. This concept is not about purchasing less. It really has to do with how things are made, used, and how the used materials are handled at the end of a product's life. The ideas advanced in this book are based on our virtues guiding us toward complete sustainability and how it works for all people and all nations now and in the future. This concept is also adaptable and allows our innovation to create new approaches toward sustainability as our understanding of natural and human systems evolve. It can be difficult for people to think in terms of complete sustainability since we are accustomed to making short-term decisions. It is difficult to predict future problems and how all the things we do today could affect the future. We cannot solve all the problems today that the world will face in the future, but we can set up a system today where people of the future will have avoided potential problems and or can solve occurring problems best when they do arise. The course of action to take and the urgency of the distant future's problems can be unclear and difficult to assess. However, sticking with the principles introduced later in this book and being guided by our virtues will ensure that people and life are given the consideration needed for certain sustainability now and into the future. There is a solution to make the world sustainable in all three pillars while growing the economy, increasing opportunity, and increasing value for all people around the world now and into the indefinite future. The world is a place of abundance, and we have been provided with enough resources on earth, if used wisely, to make it work. Our success will be assured because we have been given the mental abilities, the wisdom, and the virtues to guide us as individuals and as societies.